There's a cat in our city, a shadow with amber eyes that everyone knows but no one owns. We call him Leo. He's a creature of habit, a master of routine. Every evening, as the sky bruises purple and the first streetlights hum to life, Leo makes his way to the same apartment block. It's nothing special, just another brick and concrete giant, but to him, it's a predictable sanctuary. He slips through a gap in the fence, pads up the concrete steps, and curls up on a specific doormat on the third floor, the one that catches the warm air from the vent. For Leo, the world is a map of warmth, scent, and sound, the cold geometry of walls and staircases. That's just for us humans. One night, something was different. The air was unusually still, holding its breath. The moon hung in the sky like a silver coin, casting long, distorted shadows. Leo, deep in a dream of chasing sunbeams, was oblivious. But as he slept, the city began to dream too. Silently, without a single groan of metal or crunch of stone, the buildings started to move. The apartment block where Leo slept detached from its foundation and glided down the street, swapping places with a bookstore. The old library waltzed with the new glass skyscraper. Streets twisted into braids, and bridges arched over parks where roads used to be. It was a quiet, colossal ballet, performed under the blanket of night while the city's inhabitants slept, none the wiser. The first hint of trouble came with the morning chill. Leo stirred, stretched one leg, then another, and opened his eyes. The world was wrong. The air smelled different, not of Mrs. Gable's morning coffee from 3B, but of old paper and ink. The comforting hum of the building's ancient boiler was gone, replaced by a profound silence. He stood up, his fur on end. The hallway he knew, with its scuffed linoleum and flickering fluorescent light, was now a corridor of polished wood, lined with shelves that reached for a ceiling he couldn't see. He padded to where the stairs should be. They weren't there. In their place was a solid wall, smelling faintly of lemon polish. Panic, a cold and unfamiliar sensation for a cat as stoic as Leo, began to prickle at him. He retraced his steps. The door to 3B, his usual landmark, was now a grand oak affair with a brass handle shaped like a lion's head. He nudged it open. Instead of a familiar living room, he found himself in what looked like a child's bedroom, filled with model airplanes and posters of distant galaxies. A boy was sleeping soundly, a faint smile on his face. Leo backed away slowly, his heart thumping against his ribs. This wasn't his building, this wasn't his world. He tried another door, one that should have led to the rooftop access. It swung open into a bustling kitchen, steam rising from pots on a stove, even though it was still hours before dawn. A chef in a tall white hat chopped vegetables with rhythmic precision, completely ignoring the small, bewildered cat in the doorway. Leo felt like a ghost, an observer in a dream that wasn't his own. Every door was a portal to another life, another place. A staircase he tried to climb simply ended midair, leading to a dizzying drop into a courtyard he'd never seen before. The city's logic had fractured. For a human, this would be a nightmare, a descent into madness, but Leo wasn't human. His compass wasn't built on visual memory or the names of streets. His world was mapped by more fundamental forces. He closed his eyes, filtering out the confusing sights. He let his other senses take over. He could feel the vibrations of the earth, subtle shifts and murmurs that spoke a language older than concrete, and he could feel warmth. Not just the heat from a vent, but the deep, foundational warmth of a place that is constant, a place that is home. Ignoring the nonsensical architecture around him, Leo began to follow this warmth. It was a faint thread in a chaotic tapestry, but it was there. He walked not along paths, but along thermal gradients. He squeezed through a newly formed gap between a bakery and a post office, ignoring the impossible sight of them sharing a wall. He navigated by the scent of rain-soaked earth that clung to one particular cluster of buildings, a scent he associated with his territory. He was following a memory, not of sight, but of feeling. The journey was surreal. He trotted through a living room that had a bus stop in the middle of it. He crossed a bridge that now spanned from one skyscraper's balcony to another. He saw parks floating where roads should be, their trees rustling in a wind that didn't touch the streets below. The city was a kaleidoscope, beautiful and terrifying. But Leo kept his focus, a tiny pilgrim on a quest for the familiar. The thread of warmth grew stronger, a beacon in the madness. He saw other animals too. A flock of pigeons circled a lamppost that had sprouted from the roof of a car, utterly confused. A dog barked endlessly at a fire hydrant that was now inside a butcher's shop window. They were all lost, trapped in the city's fleeting dream. But Leo was different. He wasn't looking for the world to make sense. He was just looking for his spot. Finally, he found it. At the heart of the chaos, there was one building that hadn't moved. It was an old, unassuming brownstone, tucked away on what was, for tonight, a brand new street. It wasn't the building he had fallen asleep in, but it pulsed with that same deep, resonant warmth. It felt anchored, its roots deep in the true earth, untouched by the night's whimsical dance. It was the city's heart, the one point of stillness in a world of flux. Leo trotted towards it, his purpose renewed. The front door was ajar. He slipped inside. The air was warm, smelling of dust, old wood, and safety. He found the staircase and climbed, his paws sure-footed once more. On the third floor, by a window overlooking the bizarre, shifting city, there was a worn velvet armchair. It was radiating a gentle heat, as if someone had just been sitting there. Leo leapt up, circled 3 times, and curled into a tight ball. The warmth enveloped him, a perfect, comforting hug. He closed his eyes and, for the second time that night, fell instantly asleep. As he slept, the city began to tire of its game. With the first blush of dawn painting the horizon, the buildings started their slow, silent journey home. The library slid back to its corner. The skyscraper reclaimed its patch of sky. The staircases reconnected, and the doors returned to their rightful homes. The streets untangled themselves, settling back into their familiar, grid-like pattern. By the time the first alarm clocks began to ring, the city was exactly as it had been the evening before. Not a brick was out of place. Mrs. Gable opened her door, the 3rd floor of her very normal apartment block, to get the morning paper. She saw Leo sleeping on her doormat, right where he always was. She smiled. "There you are, you lazy thing," she murmured, stepping over him. Leo opened one amber eye, yawned, and stretched. The air smelled of coffee, and the familiar hum of the boiler was back. For him, the world was right again. He had followed the warmth, not the walls, and it had led him home. As he got up to begin his day, only he carried the secret of the night the city danced.